What's up, Manufacturing All-Stars? This episode of Manufacturing Happy Hour is admittedly going to be a little different. That's because this is the last episode of Manufacturing Happy Hour that we will be filming in the original lab where it started, right here in San Ramon, California. Manufacturing Happy Hour is still continuing, but this episode is going to be a little more sentimental. It's going to include some goodbyes, and it's just going to be a little more off the cuff than normal, and I'm going to break some of my own rules of being on camera. I've got some notes here because I don't want to forget anything because this one's important. Today, I should say, a couple weeks ago, I turned in my resignation at Rockwell Automation. After 11 years, I will be embarking on a new career journey where I will be helping industrial manufacturers create content that converts into new customers. I'm going to be building out a media and marketing agency for the manufacturing space, and I'm essentially going to be helping manufacturers take marketing expenses or investments that they don't know how to make in marketing right now and turn those into investments that result in new customers. Really exciting journey ahead, and I'm excited to say that I'm going to be teaming up with my first client and the brand new premier sponsor of Manufacturing Happy Hour, Steamchainio. Funny enough, coming from a Rockwell Automation guy, Steamchainio is also founded by a number of Rockwell Automation alumni. This just seems to be a company that breeds talent and people that go on to do great things, whether it's inside or out. Steamchainio, you've probably heard me talk about them in Manufacturing Happy Hour before. If not, don't worry. I'm going to give you some quick background, but we won't spend too much time on them today because you'll hear plenty about them. But they are a machine-as-a-service company that essentially helps end users purchase equipment that they pay for on performance and production outcomes rather than a capital investment. And this is really cool for a number of reasons. It's probably one of my favorite solutions that I've come across in the past year of doing Manufacturing Happy Hour, in addition to things like emulate 3D digital twin software, stuff like Vuforia and expert capture, things that are really addressing some of the most critical issues in manufacturing. And machine as a service, I see it as an excellent way that's going to help end users and equipment manufacturers partner better on a more long-term basis through this financial model. Anyway, Steamchainio is where I'm going. Excited to team up with that talented group on a really cool solution. But that said, this episode is really more about just appreciating the past 11 years I've had at Rockwell Automation. And I'm going to be sharing 3 of the things that I'm most grateful for from my time here at Rockwell. So let's start at the top. First, I'm grateful that I learned how to sell here at Rockwell Automation. And I don't mean that just from, learning negotiations, sales strategy, things like that. Those are important. But also just the complexity of sales and everything else that goes into it. To back up a bit, when I started my career at Rockwell Automation, I went through the sales training program in 2010. Great way to kickstart things, great way to learn a lot of the tactical and strategic elements of sales. But one thing that sticks out from that program more than anything is a piece of advice I got from the regional VP of the area I was moving to at the time. I was about to relocate to Houston. And he told me that if you're not losing, you're not trying hard enough. And that has been one of the most critical pieces of advice throughout my career, because I have had plenty of times where I have let's say, failed to close the order. I think we've all been through a loss before if we're in sales. But having that and having that ability about being comfortable with failure was one of the most impactful things that could have happened early in my career as I've gone on to sales pursuits that have been successful or ones where I've, let's say, learned some lessons along the way. The other thing I've learned about sales is that you play to your strengths. There's certainly things in sales that are consistent, processes that can be followed that everyone should do. But the reality is, not everyone sells the same. You might be someone that's really analytical. You might be a great listener. You might be really creative. Heck, you might find a way to sell by starting a video series with beer that you send out to your customers in an email. There's not necessarily a single way. And you got to figure out what works for you. And Rockwell Automation gave me the opportunity to figure out how to do that. So, from the sales strategies to the creativity and to just the general character building that comes from a career in sales, I have Rockwell Automation to thank for that. So that's number 1, learning how to sell. Number 2, I'm really grateful for the incredible managers and incredible teams that I've had, and I should just say the incredible leaders in general that I've been surrounded by during my time at Rockwell Automation. First, I got to give a shout out to all the people that I've worked for over the years. Don, Ben, Scott, Paul, Steve. I've seen all of them bring excellent things to the table. All of them have shaped my career in some way, shape, or form, and all of them have their own unique strengths. And honestly, that's one of the best things that came out of having so many different good managers. Much like I was saying about sales, there are different ways you can do it. There are different ways you can be an excellent leader as well. Well, you know, just sales, for example. Maybe you're really analytical and you know how to manage a funnel inside and out. Maybe you're, let's say, a really great financial seller. That's another great strength to have. Or maybe you're a manager that's really good at developing young career talent. The reason I bring up all these different things is all of my managers have been strong in, you know, a mix of these areas, one of these areas, whatever it is. And it's really been cool to learn that, you know what, you don't necessarily have to be the jack of all trades. You just need to be self-aware to know what you can bring to the table and how you can use those skills to help shape someone else's career. Super grateful for the great leadership I've been around, the people that I've reported to. I can't thank all of you enough for empowering me throughout my career to do cool things, to challenge me, you know, help me out even when I'm down. It's been incredible, especially when I feel like I talk to people from other companies that are just like, you know, I haven't had a good manager before. It's hard for me to relate to that, honestly, and I feel really fortunate for having been in that position at Rockwell Automation. And then not just the managers, but the incredible teams I've been surrounded by. Just the smart individuals, the competency that leaders, that domain experts, that specialists all have. Whether it was out in Houston where I started my career, here in San Francisco, I've been really lucky to always have a great support infrastructure of people that can help me go after some of the most challenging sales pursuits that I've been a part of. So a big thank you to all of you that have been on my team, leading the teams, etc. It's been a great, great time. Now, in terms of the last item on the list, the final thing I want to bring up, and I think this goes without saying, but I'm grateful for the incredible culture at Rockwell Automation. It is an understatement to say that this culture is the envy of the industrial industry. If you work at Rockwell, if you've worked at Rockwell before and left to go somewhere else, or if you're someone that wants to work at Rockwell for the first time, there's no doubt that you have heard about the strength of the culture at Rockwell Automation. And that not only comes with having great people, great competent people, great leaders, but what it also comes with is an ability to be open and challenge one another and come to work and feel like you can be yourself and feel like you're in a safe environment. And you know, I don't know where my career will lead me long term. I certainly know what the immediate future is going to look like, and I have plans for how that's going to grow. But I hope one thing that I can take away from Rockwell and bring wherever I go is that ability to help influence, build, or shape that strong culture. Anyway, been rambling a bit today, but those are the three things that I'm grateful for during my time at Rockwell Automation, and I'm sure that only scratches the surface. So, like I said, Manufacturing Happy Hour is not going away. You can expect more big things from us very soon, more interviews, more events, whether they're virtual and in person whenever that happens again, and the best community of manufacturing leaders in the industry. So keep in touch. I know I'll see you around. There's another adventure for me ahead. So, first and foremost, bottoms up. And whether you're just hearing about manufacturing now, or whether you've been a part of my career for a long time, I want to leave with a heartfelt thank you. And I'll see you later. Stay innovative, stay thirsty.